Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I've made a video, about 2 weeks actually to be almost exact. So I decided that I'd make another one here because today, which is Saturday, I went ahead and I picked up more computers and bits and pieces of other technological devices to talk about here. So yeah, in the past 2 weeks I have actually picked up more stuff. A week ago, I did get quite a few computer parts, not a whole lot of desktops themselves, but a lot of motherboards and hard drives and stuff. But I was so busy testing them out that I created a huge mess, and it was just all over the place. And I didn't make a video because it would have been too much of a pain to try to remember everything, and the video wouldn't have been good, pretty much. So today I did get some things, mostly some intact desktops, so I'm going to go ahead and mention those first. So, firstly today, I went to the recycling center twice. I got 4 old computers to scrap, all of which had these black Intel Celeron ceramic CPUs. Not ceramic, actually, they're plastic. He all had Sync 100 RAM or something. So I had my brother scrap all those, and we brought them back. And we came back with more computers to scrap. This old server here, it had a ceramic CPU in it. I haven't looked at it other than that though, because you know it's scrap material. It's really old though. And this old Dell, that's all it is. It doesn't have any other parts. No hard drive, no DVD drives, nothing. Just motherboard, CPU, video card, and stuff, and a floppy drive. And oddly enough, this other hard drive was also there. It's an ST225. It's a 20 megabyte hard drive. I think it's from somewhere in the 80s. It's ridiculously huge. Weighs at least 3 or 4 pounds. And yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't think it's really worth anything, but you know, it's a piece of vintage computing, and I don't even know if it works, but I think it's still pretty cool. So now on to the stuff that I got today that doesn't suck, that I'm not going to scrap. Now I went the first time, and the only thing I got the first time was those 4 computers to scrap. And I was so bummed out, but I went ahead and I also found this HP Pavilion the first time I was there, so I was like, wow. I pulled the front bezel off of it so I could vacuum it out. And actually, I already made a first take of this video that lasted over 20 minutes, but instead I just blundered and talked about so much useless crap that I'm redoing the video. But in any case, I didn't work with the front bezel. I always do this. Such a mess in here. I just can't not do that. Oh, here it is. I had some stickers in the front explaining what I had, and they are so accurate, but I had to rip them off because they were coming off anyway. I'm going to use my sticky stuff remover to remove the rest of that residue. But it has 2 512 megabyte chips of DDR400 megahertz memory. They're identical, so it's in dual channel. A 3 gigahertz Intel Pentium 4. I think it might be socket. No, not socket 470. I don't think it's socket T. This is a 256 megabyte HEP card. I can't remember the exact model number right now. It doesn't say in the back, but that's that. A 160 gigabyte IDE hard drive. I also had a SATA DVD drive in it, which I pulled out of it, which I'm going to use in another computer probably somewhere along the line. And this thing was full of dust. Also has a floppy drive that's not really even worth mentioning. And some old looking CD rewritable drive. But I haven't actually, I have tested it out. I've gone to the BIOS with it, but yeah, I didn't actually start setting it up yet because this computer, I went back to the recycling center for the second time, which is when I also got those 2 computers to scrap. And I found this thing. It's a Dell XPS 400, also known as the Dell Dimension 9150. It had no hard drive in it, but I'll give you all the other specs. It says it has Intel VIIV technology on the front right there, which I usually associate with Intel Core 2 Duos and Quads, but this just has an Intel Pentium dual core 3.2 gigahertz. I don't think it can take Core 2 Duos, or let alone Core 2 Quads. So it was caked full of dust, so on the way home, I left this thing open in the back of the truck while I drove. Well, I didn't drive home, my dad did, but on the way home, you know, I left this case open, dust was flying out of it. There was so much in it. But I cleaned it all up with my handy dandy shop vac, so you can barely see any specks of dust anymore. And you know, the heatsink's blown out some hot air at the back, but you know, it's not a problem. But anyway, back to the point. It has 4 identical chips of DDR2, 533 MHz memory, and dual channel since they're all identical. That's PC2 4200U memory right there. Also has an ATI Radeon X1300 Pro, 256 megabyte PCI Express by 16 graphics card. Actually, I have 2 other of these. I think one of them doesn't work, the other one works fine. And I honestly don't really want to put a Radeon X1300 Pro in this computer because it's a little bit too powerful for Pentium dual core, and you know, the hard drive I put in, which I will discuss in a moment. But I discovered that I didn't have any alternative that would be acceptable. I have this other 256 megabyte PCI Express video card, but the fan makes a lot of noise. I'm afraid it might be seizing soon. It's a GeForce 6600 256 megabyte card, so I just left that one in there. Now, since it didn't have a hard drive, I had to put one in it, obviously, to get it working, because it's not worth it waiting probably weeks or months until I find it's SATA hard drive. And my last video a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that I bought 5 SATA hard drives for $65. So I popped one of those things in there. It's 13 bucks a piece, that is. And it's only 80 gigabyte, but you know, it's good enough, I guess. It'll do the trick. And I'm hoping to sell this for, let me see, at least $100. That's what I want to get out of it. Although it is eBay, and I usually don't end up getting as much out of eBay as I'd like, but you know, what can I do? I have about 50 computers in here I need to sell, and you know, I can't post them all to Craigslist because they won't sell, and if they do sell, I'll make good money off them, but they'll just be too slow. But I think that's enough on that. Actually, I also have this USB in 1394 card, which kind of puzzles me because this thing has plenty of USB ports in the back. They're all USB 2.0, and this one is USB 1.0. 4 USBs in the back, 2 1394s, 1 inner or interior USB, and 1 1394. But I don't get the point of it. If you have plenty of USB 2.0s, why would you even put the USB 1.0 card? Maybe because I wanted more 1394s, which I don't think there are any of, but that's not really that important. Service Pack 3 installed pretty quickly on that. But anyway, I also had this sound card in it. It's a Creative Sound Blaster Live SB0570 sound card, and this kind of puzzles me as well because it has 4 audio jacks in the back, whereas the integrated audio has 5. I don't understand why I would want to use that card to downgrade the audio, but they did. Now, it also had a PCI Express, I think it's buy 1 or buy 2, WinTV, HVR 1800, TV tuner card, I think that's what it's called. I've sold something similar to this. I can't remember what slot it was, what ports it had on it, but it was something very similar. I think it was also WinTV for like $30 or $40 on eBay. So after this video, I'm going to go ahead and look up this card and see how much it sells for. Same thing with this thing. I actually got this thing last week in a computer, but it has a cable to it. It's not really worth a whole lot, I'm afraid. It's a it outputs signals to TVs. This is a very weird port. Plug it in right here, and you get VGA and S-video and composite out, which I thought was interesting. It's an AIW 9600 128 megabyte NTSC card. So I'd put a quick mention towards that. That's it for everything I got today. Now, last week I got a huge box, and those boxes were full of motherboards and hard drives and other little bits of things. I didn't get a whole lot of intact desktops, although this is one of them that I did get. It's a pretty snazzy looking case, although it is a little bit scratched up and dirty, but of course I am going to wash it off before I sell it. It had a lot of nasty dust inside of it that I cleaned out. And I also had a pretty cool LED system. It has this cylindrical LED right here that actually was hooked up to a little mechanism in the back here that you could turn a little knob and change it with, but unfortunately the system was broken. The system was broken, so I just pulled the cables out and cut them all out, and you know, I didn't feel like getting it working. It's not really worth it anyway. but right now it has an AMD Athlon 64 3500 plus 2.2 gigahertz CPU. I honestly, for the life of me, cannot remember if that CPU was originally in this case or on this motherboard, I mean, or if I got it from somewhere else, but it's here anyway. And last week I also got this. It's a NVIDIA GeForce MX440 64 megabyte HEP graphics card, and I got this 60 gigabyte 7200 RPM hard drive, I think 2 weeks ago, might have been. Wiped it and popped it in here. Might have been 3 weeks ago, I can't remember. And I took some DDR RAM I had lying around. 4 chips of DDR 400 MHz memory. These two are identical, and these two are identical. So it's running a dual channel. Put a DVD drive and a CD programmable drive in it. And put XP Pro on it, and it's almost all ready to go. I have it all updated and everything, but I just need to pull up the manual online and plug in the front panel USB pins to the motherboard. And then I'll be able to pop the case siding on it and stow it away for sale. Now, that's it for that. And the computer I think I might have got that hard drive from was a computer that this motherboard corresponded with. It was similar to this HP Pavilion, except not as good. The front bezel's tabs are all snapped off, so it wouldn't go back on, and the top plastic piece was missing. So I decided to pretty much pull all the parts out and throw the case away, which is exactly what I did. And I'm left behind with the motherboard. So yeah, that's that. I think it has a 2 gigahertz Pentium 4 on it. You know, it's a pretty basic motherboard. It's not anything great. It's probably from 2003 or so. Actually, oops, I forgot to mention, this sound card was in this computer. It's a Creative SB0460 sound card. I don't know if it's worth anything, but after this video, I'll go ahead and look it up and see how much it's worth. I can't remember if I mentioned this computer or not, honestly. I can't remember if I mentioned it yet in this video. Yes, I did. I did. Because I'm tired right now and I'm just completely out of it. So, 2 weeks ago, when I made my last video, I mentioned this little case here. I said how I had a motherboard in it. But I took the motherboard out because this motherboard is from an old HP, somewhat old HP. And the problem is, it doesn't really have good driver support online. And also the problem that it doesn't have a good manual support online. So I can't figure out which pins correspond to what LEDs and switches and stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, sell it separately. Okay, so most of the scrap was accumulated from 2 weeks ago. Jesus, that scared me. Most of the scrap was accumulated from 2 weeks ago, although I got some of it this week. Right. Kitty. Some of it was from today, but most of it was from before.
Oh, he's going up, watch this. Oh my god.
Okay then. But this machine here, it looks like it was a server or something, was from, no, this was from 1 week ago. Whenever I said 2 weeks ago, disregard that. This is a socket 478 Pentium 4, I think it's 2.8 gigahertz if I remember correctly. It had no hard drive, no RAM. I don't think I had a video card. I haven't really tested it out yet. Most of these machines I got last week had water inside them, so I let them dry out for a while. And this is one of them. I haven't actually tested it out yet. I don't know if it works, but I'm going to test it out shortly to see if it does work.
Back out, Milo.
Okay, so I think that's almost it. I have a bunch of scrap accumulating here. All my other scrap's in another location. I'm not going to explain that right now, though. Man, that TV is still right there. I took that TV out here probably 2 or 3 weeks ago to try to diagnose it, and I just left it there, honestly. And I'm really bogged down. Oh, a week ago I was looking at this case. I think it had, I can't remember. No motherboard in it. I think it had this motherboard in it. Wait, I can't remember if I mentioned this already, but I got these two motherboards last week. This is a Dell 4550 motherboard. This is a another motherboard that's identical to the one that's in that case. Okay, it has like a 2 GHz AMD Athlon 64 on it. I got this chip around a week or two ago. But point is, this case right here looks pretty snazzy. But yes, it did have this motherboard in it. But this motherboard only supports single-core Athlon 64s. So I decided to save this nice-looking case until I got a dual-core something to put in it, or a dual-core motherboard or something. So yeah, I'm just going to let that sit in there until I find a motherboard that will go in it pretty well. But I think that's going to be it for now. I didn't cover quite a bit of what I had to mention, but I think that will be it. I think that's sufficient. I think my viewers will be satisfied with this video. And honestly, I go back in my video uploads and I can't watch my own videos. I find them to be way too boring and uninteresting. I honestly don't really fully understand why people seem to like my videos so much. I mean, I have just under 2,000 subscribers right now. I don't understand why. I mean, my videos are long, and I kind of just drone on about computers and stuff, but people seem to like it, so I'm doing it anyway. I think the reason people watch my videos, correct me if I'm wrong though, is because they're interested in what I have to show, obviously. It's all the computers I'm talking about. They're not interested in me, necessarily. They're not interested in my style of video. They're just interested in what I have to point the camera at. But yeah, I enjoy doing this as a hobby, and yeah, I guess people like watching it. But I've got all these machines over here. I haven't counted them. It's probably 40 or 50 in total. There are also 8 over there, or 6, I think. But I haven't been selling a whole lot lately because well, actually I've been selling a little bit over the past couple of weeks, but I haven't been uploading much of anything, so I've been pretty lazy. And actually, before I sell any of these, what I do is I put them over there and I test them out first, make sure all the hardware's right, and I see most batteries haven't died, and everything. But unfortunately, lately I haven't had much table space since I've been so busy working on these machines, so I haven't got anything uploaded for a while. But that's going to be it for this video. I have some other things I could mention, but they're just not interesting enough, and it would just take too much time to talk about. So that's it for now. As usual, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.